Hello everyone and welcome back to Mount Moon TCG. Today's episode, I'm going to be doing commentary on a game that Chris and I played recently. Chris is not here to do commentary, so I'm here to do it, well, instead of both of us. So today's matchup is going to be Damage Swap versus Haymaker, a look at base set through the jungle format. Of course, we are playing with the Wizards of the Coast era rules, so we set up first. Before we flip the coin and decide who goes first. The winner of the coin flip obviously goes first. So I'm on the left, Chris is on the right, I am playing the Haymaker, and Chris is playing Damage Swap, Alakazam. So I win the coin flip here, draw a Scyther, bench a Scyther. Scyther's pretty good, got free retreat cost, which is always nice to have. No real attackers in my hand, gonna play Computer Search. Discard 2 other cards from your hand in order to search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Alright, I pitch a energy removal and a plus power to search for Electabuzz. Okay. So Chris starts the Abra and has a Chansey on the bench. Abra also has free retreat, and obviously I want to do damage to the Abra and maybe paralyze it so it can't retreat. So I'm going to attach energy to the Electabuzz, but first I'm going to retreat the Scyther to put up the Electabuzz, and I play last. You and your opponent show each other your hands, then shuffle all the trainer cards from your hands into the deck. Trying to stop Chris a little bit from doing something, and then I attack with Thundershock from Electabuzz. Hits for 10 damage and then flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. Unfortunately for me, I flipped tails there. So Chris is going to draw. Then I think right away here, yep, he retreats into the Chansey, because Chansey can take a couple of hits, especially when he attaches double colorless energy to Chansey. To use the first attack, Scrunch, flip a coin. If heads, prevent all damage done to Chansey during your opponent's next turn. So I'm going to attach energy, and I'm going to do a Thundershock here because we did question whether or not effective attacks would hit Chansey. And yes, if I flipped heads on the paralyzed, Chansey would be paralyzed. So that's what I do here, and the tails flips. Yep, it says any other effects of the attack still happen. And Chris, he's getting on rolling. I got nothing on my side. The last did not help me. Benches a Kadabra and benches a Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has the ability, or Pokemon power I should say, where if attacks that do 30 or more damage would hit Mr. Mime, they do nothing. And the attack barrier does 10 damage, and then plus 10 more for each damage counter on a defending Pokemon. Fortunately for me, I top deck the Oak here, which Chris, by the way, did use the Chansey attack to flip heads, and I can't damage him next turn, so I need to remember that. Past Hunter, you didn't remember this. You'll see why in a minute. Top deck the Oak, draw 7 new cards. Professor Oak states you discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Play a Bill here to draw 2 more cards. Because, yeah, there's no such things as supporters in this era. It's just, they just have trainer cards. So you can play as many trainers as you want. So you can play 4 Professor Oak. You can play 4 Bills, 4 Last. You can play anything, really. So this is where I do a stupid play. Instead of trying to paralyze, I totally forgot that Chris flipped heads on the Chansey. He put the coin right on there to remind me. I hard retreated the Electabuzz and tried to hit Chansey with the Hitmonchan. I couldn't think of the name for a second. To try and hit Chansey for weakness, but totally forgot. And now Chris is just going to retreat Chansey and bring up this Mr. Mime and do Meditate, it's called. So it's going to do 20 damage to me. Since Hitmonchan has the Psychic weakness. which means next turn, Hitmonchan is going to be knocked out. So, not looking good for me. And Chris also evolved into the Alakazam, which has the Pokemon Power, Damage Swap, which can move damage counters on your side of the field as many times as you want to any Pokemon you want. You just can't knock them out. So, not looking good for me. So, I do play Scoop Up. I choose one of the Pokemon I have in play, put the Pokemon into my hand, and discard all of the cards. So, that's what I do. Bring up the Hitmonchan that was in the active. Bring up the Electabuzz. Use the first attack to try and paralyze the Mr. Mime. Does not work. Yeah, and Chris is just going to use Meditate. He doesn't really have to do much. I need to do a lot of work here. Because Chris he's got his board set up, and it's not looking good for me. Mr. Mime, a very, very pesky Pokemon to deal with. And I'm just going to attack with Thundershock again. That time it does work. I do 10 damage, and it's paralyzed. Chris deciding, wait, how's paralyzed go? Is it this way, this way? It's always counterclockwise. Asleep to the left, confused towards you, and then paralyzed to the right. Moving damage counters to the Chansey. Playing a computer search. Discarding I believe, a Pokemon Trader and Energy Retrieval. To search probably for the Professor Oak here. I keep wanting to call it Professor's Research. Because, that's currently what we're playing in standard format right now. But since this is Wizards of the Coast, base set through Jungle. I might have said Fossil earlier. I can't remember, but this is base set through Jungle. Maybe it is base set through Fossil. I don't remember. It'll be in the description, or it'll be in the title. I don't remember off the top of my head. All of a sudden. Okay. Yep. Playing the Professor Oak. Okay, deciding what to do. Yep, playing another computer search, discarding a Grass Energy and a Psychic Energy here. Yep, you might be wondering why the Grass Energy. You'll see in a bit why Chris runs the Grass Energy in the deck, and there it is right there, the Scyther. Scyther does have Swords Dance, which during your next turn, Scyther's slash attacks, base damage is 60 instead of 30. Cool way to power up that big slash attack. It's kind of annoying that it's one Grass Energy, but I mean, to double the power of another attack on your Pokemon, I think it's kind of worth it. And then, yep, Chris plays the switch to bring up the Scyther, and then retreat the Scyther, because as we retreat to the Mr. Mime, so Mr. Mime can attack, gets rid of the paralysis once it goes to the bench. And Chris just has all the answers here for me. Just not a whole lot I can do. Besides just keep trying to paralyze Mr. Mime that went off the table with Thundershock. And the coin flip fails. Story of my life. Yep. The Electabuzz's second attack, I don't know if we're going to get to it. I don't remember from this video. But for 2 energy, an electric and a colorless, it does 30, well, plus 10 if you flip a coin, and if heads, 10 more to the active, tails, 10 to myself. Alright, Mr. Mime knocks out my Electabuzz. Chris takes a prize. I promote the Scyther, because free retreat is awesome. Play Energy Retrieval. Trade one of the cards in your hand for up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile. Can be a little helpful here, especially since I'm running out of energy. Okay, attach to the Buzz, and yeah, bring the Buzz back up to paralyze some more. Yeah, keep doing 10 damage, even though it seems like what's the point with Haymaker, because it's like I'm not doing a lot of damage. Yep, and Chris attaching energy to Chansey, potentially building that up for an attack, or to use Scrunch to save it from getting hit. Okay, draw again. Attach to the Hitmonchan. So Hitmonchan has 3 energies on it now. Yep. Attack again with Thunder Shock and 10 damage, but I'm not paralyzing it, which is... I think I made it flip 1 heads, and then Chris was able to switch and retreat out of it, so that's annoying. Yep, I'm going to build up that Chansey there for Chris. He's building up a big attacker. Alright. Yep. Chris moves all the damage onto a Scyther with no energy on it, and then plays Pokemon Center, which you heal all your Pokemon. And then when you heal the Pokemon, you gotta discard all energy from it. It's very annoying in this deck. I mean, it makes sense why it plays it. But yeah, I can't put damage counters. It really sucks as the Haymaker player because Mr. Mime was up there. And you can only do 20 damage to it. At most. And then he's just going to move 20 damage, and then he's going to wait until he got a bunch of damage that I can't, you know, gust of wind around and then knock something out. Yep, and this time I attack with the Electabuzz. I gust of wind up the Alakazam. What I should have done was maybe try to paralyze the Alakazam so it can't use damage swap. Because in this time you could not use Pokemon powers if you're affected by a special condition. Yep. Chris plays the Item Finder, which discard 2 cards from your hand to search for a trainer card from the discard pile to put into your hand. That's what Chris did. Found the switch to switch the Alakazam out of the active to bring up Mr. Mime, and Mr. Mime damaged my Electabuzz. So now I finally get my energy removal cards a bit too late, but energy removal is choose 1 energy card attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon and discard it. Still in an awkward spot here for me. It's, yep, Gust of Wind. I know he can move the damage, but I can at least put a lot of damage on Chansey, and I think here I need to try to maybe knock something out. So plus power does add 10 more damage to the attack. Then I Professor Oak, draw a new hand, because my hand was literally Oak and last. What are you going to choose? I'm going to choose Oak. I could have maybe tried to mess Chris's hand up a little bit, but then he could have just retreated into Mr. Mime, and not looking good. Then I have no hand. So I think Oak was the right play here. Another energy removal from the Mr. Mime, yes. It's annoying. Okay, energy retrieval to get some more energy cards back. Pitching the Hitmonchan. Yeah, for an electric and a fighting energy. Or lightning and fighting, however you like to call electric energy. Electric energy and metal energy are the 2 ones I always go back and forth on. I either say electric or lightning, or metal or steel and steel. It's just the way it is. So now I'm attaching to the Scyther here. Yep, just so I can use super energy removal. Discard 1 energy card attached to one of your own Pokemon in order to choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and up to 2 energy cards attached to it. So if Chris had 2 double colorless attached to Chansey, I can discard both of them. So it's just cards, not amount of energy. So that is why I attached to Scyther, because I'm like, well, it doesn't matter who I attach to, as long as I get rid of these pesky energy on your Pokemon. I then play my Item Finder to find, you know, more hate cards like energy removal. And now I've left Chris with no energy on the table. I do my 80 damage with the Hitmonchan because of weakness on the Chansey. But Chris has got the Professor Oak. Draws a new hand. And benches a Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan can draw a card for 1 energy, or for 4 energy, flip 4 coins, and the attack does 20 damage times the number of heads. And Chris is going to move the damage counter 6 to the... He put 6 on the Kangaskhan and 6 on the Scyther. Was there 3 on the Scyther already? I didn't think there was. That's interesting. I'll have to watch after I do this commentary to see. There might have been 30 on the Scyther already, but I don't remember there being any. Yeah, and I do another 80 damage to the Hitmonchan. Because even though it don't say on the cards, but weakness is ×2. Chris plays a Pokemon Trader to trade one of the base. It essentially says trade one of the Pokemon in your hand with a Pokemon from your deck. That's what it sure said, but they had the weird writing where it said trade one basic or evolution card from your hand to find a basic or evolution card from your deck. It's like, dude, just take Pokemon. It's fine. Okay, moves all the damage to the Chansey on the bench that he benched this turn. Goes for the Scrunch and nothing. So now you got a Chansey on the bench with 80, a Kangaskhan with 60, and a Scyther with 60. It probably should be 30, but I'm not sure. It might not matter. Attach a double colorless to Scyther here. You know, if I had Muck in this deck, the deck would be a lot better, because Muck would shut off the Alakazam and Mr. Mime abilities. But unfortunately, my deck does not play the Muck, if that's what you were looking for. There's no Muck. I don't know. I can't remember what set Muck is from. It might be Fossil, and I think this might be just the Jungle, if I remember correctly. I think Muck was Fossil. Or this deck just for some reason didn't play Muck. By the way, the where we found these decks is going to be in the description box below. I forgot to say that earlier. Chris is going to retreat the Chansey to bring up Mr. Mime and put 20 damage on my Hitmonchan. So now I'm in a tough spot. If I had a Gust of Wind in hand, this would be amazing, but I'm going to play Super Energy Removal. Get rid of those energies on Mr. Mime. That's about my only option at this point. And then I'm just going to Special Punch for a little bit of damage. Yeah, I use Special Punch for 40. No, I use Jab for 20. Sorry, I use Jab for 20. I keep thinking Mr. Mime is resistant to fighting, but it's not. He's going to move the damage. So I have the Chansey in hand. Yeah, and I discarded it. I didn't realize until later, because now that we're doing best of ones, we play like multiple games, and I didn't realize till after this game I could just put Chansey in the active and basically stall, because Chansey is resistant to Psychic. And what else is Chris going to attack with? Yep, so Chris gets the energy that he needs for Mr. Mime to be able to knock out my Hitmonchan. And Chris is going to move more damage counters around because that's what the deck does. It moves damage counters. Yep, and that math is correct. Basically trying to prevent a Gust of Wind play and a Jab if I get it. Yep, knocks out the Hitmonchan. Yeah, promote Scyther, and I got, all this energy on Scyther to use Slash for 30, and it does nothing because, you know why? The attack doesn't go through. I just hit for 30, which is unfortunate. And I got nothing else. So now here's where I'm going, how thin is my deck? And I go, it probably doesn't matter. I'm going to be losing in a couple of turns anyhow. So I think I'm trying to search for a Gust of Wind here. There's one in my hand, so I can damage something. I can probably knock out the Scyther on the bench, but I go for the Alakazam. I think my strategy here was just keep damaging Alakazam, forced to put damage on other stuff until maybe get him stuck. I mean, I could have taken the prize with the Scyther, but I'm thinking, just do damage to the Alakazam, hit it twice, and then he's got a whole bench ready for me to just feast on with Scyther. So Chris is thinking, I have not taken a prize hit, which is annoying. Damage Swap is a very annoying deck to go against. I'm going to play Switch, bring up the Mr. Mime, of course. Energy Retrieval. Yep, I get 2 more energy back. Discarding the Kadabra attaching one to Mr. Mime, and passing the turn. Just not a whole lot here. So I got the energy removal, which I'm going to play, because obviously I'm going to play energy removal. So now I should get I got Item Finder, so I should get Gust of Wind. Because I think Alakazam has 80 HP, and there's 50 on it. Yep. So Item Finder, get rid of a Scoop Up and an Energy. Yep, I get the Gust of Wind. Bring up the Alakazam. And I knock it out. There's my prize. Okay. So now Chris cannot move damage around. I don't think that's going to matter in a second, because I think you'll see why. Might not be this turn. It might be a turn after this. Or the turn after that. I don't remember. Attaches to Mr. Mime. Again, it's annoying. Scyther cannot hit Mr. Mime. If the attacks do 30 or more damage to Mr. Mime. Yeah. Prevent that damage. It's very annoying. Yeah, I might have knocked out one of the big threats in Alakazam, but I'm still in a tough spot here. Chris plays Computer Search. Yep, and he gets Pokemon Center. Move all damage counters from all of your own Pokemon with damage counters on them. Discard all energy. Chris has no energy on the Pokemon that are damaged. So it's... yeah. This is a big kind of... go fly a kite, Hunter. Go fly a kite. You're not beating me. The only thing I really do is get another Scyther set up. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. I think the deck only played maybe 3 Electabuzz and 3 Hitmonchans. Not a lot I can do. At this point, I can only hope that Chris decks himself out. I don't think that's going to happen. My deck is very thin. I just say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm going to deck myself. I don't care anymore. I'm going to jab for 20, and I got nothing going on. Because guess what? This is a really hard matchup. The best I had was playing the energy removal cards and hope that Chris did not set up the Alakazam or get the Mr. Mime. Just very unfortunate. It felt like I was very behind from the beginning in this matchup. And that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time here on Mount Moon TCG.